Hi everybody, my name is William from Own This Property and welcome back to the channel. We are in the fourth quarter of 2025 and there is another slew of launches with 4 different new launches happening back to back in the month of October. So in this video, I'll be going through with you based on 5 different budgets, the exact unit you should be buying of these 4 launches, and by the end of the video, you'll be able to identify what is the right property for your budget. And if the ballot gods are not in your favor, not to worry, because I'll also be sharing with you alternatives that you can consider in the market today. This is the OTP Ultimate 4th Quarter Decision Guide. Let's go. Before we begin, initially I wanted to do a comparison for all 4 of these launches that would start off with Skye at Holland, Penrith, Faber Residence, and then finally Zyon Grand. But then work got the better of me because by the time you're looking at this video, Skye at Holland will have already launched and very successful. It's close to 99% sold at $2,953 per square feet. So if you're still watching this video, you probably might have missed out on Skye, so fret not, let's focus on the rest of the launches in October as well as some of the alternatives that you can consider. In this video, instead of going through my usual OTP framework analysis, some viewers have actually feedback to me, wow, too long, too detailed, too technical. So this time around, I'll be doing something more different, something more practical, something that you can actually put to use today. I'll first be sharing with you a quick overview of the attributes of these developments. Then we'll go into the guide pricing and also my own price estimates. And finally, what you should be buying based on the 5 budgets. We have 1.6 mil, 2 mil, 2.5 mil, 3 mil, and finally 3.5 mil. And before we begin, I often hear buyers being caught in 2 minds. Am I an investor? Am I an own stay buyer? Investors are people who tell me, hey, location doesn't matter as long as can make money, right? And then own stay buyers will tell me, hey, I'm going to live in the place. I want this location, MRT, the school maybe. But hey, by the time I sell, I also want to make money, right? Something that I always tell all my clients is that unfortunately, budget is fixed. So my job is actually to help you balance between your growth, size, and location to suit your long-term needs. If you haven't had such a meaningful conversation with someone before, do reach out to me on WhatsApp and I'll be happy to share with you how I have also helped other YouTube viewers as well as my clients balance their needs and ultimately achieve their long-term property goals. First up, here's the overview of all the attributes of the 4 different developments. At this point, you can actually just pause the video and take a more detailed look and comparison between these 4 properties. Now, the TLDR, all 4 properties rank pretty well in my ultimate guide to new launches. If you want to see a more detailed comparison, do fill up the Google form in the link below and I'll be happy to share my ultimate guide to new launches 2025 to you. By now, you've probably seen tons of video covering the pros and cons of this development. Well, I think personally, each have their own pros and cons. Most importantly is that out of the 4, there's only one that does not have the MRT nearby, and that is your Faber residence. So to compensate for it, it actually has a good school. They have Nanhua 1 km. Moving on to the guide pricing, so for each development, I'll be using the developer's guide pricing and then coming up with this price matrix based on my own analysis, estimates over the years and experience. And I'll be able to actually identify the range of pricing as well as guess roughly what the estimated average price will be. So far so good for Skye at Holland, pretty spot on. I average around $2,900 to $3,000 per square feet and they sold at an average of $2,953 per square feet. After Skye, we have Penrith launching and this is at Queenstown, and based on the developer's guide pricing, not too much info. They only gave us the starting from price of 4 different unit types, but I think that the overall development will average about $2,800 per square feet. Based on the limited info that we have, I've kind of identified where this starting from stacks will be at. You'll notice that the larger units, they actually command a higher PSF. And by quite a big margin, you can see that the 4-bedroom units facing north, the starting from prices are already at $2,600+ per square feet. Whereas on the other side of the development, you're probably looking into the HDBs. The starting from price of a 2-bed, 2-bath, 678 square feet is only about $2,455 per square feet. That's a pretty significant gap of almost $200 per square feet. Similar to Penrith, also launching on the 18th of October, the same developer family, some more, this is by Land. This is Faber Residence at West Coast. The developer has given us a lot more information in terms of the guide pricing, and you can see that my best guess around here, prices will average around $2,200 to $2,250 per square feet. The starting from prices of Faber Residence might sound a little bit low, $1,990+ per square feet, but if you take a look at my estimates and the site plan over here, these are probably the units that are going to face the AYE. And being a low-rise development, noise will definitely be an issue. You can't really stage up prices based on the higher and higher floors. Now, whereas when you head into the inner part of the development, you'll notice that the larger units as well, you get landed views or the Skye Ulu Pandan views. Now, the developer is also very smart. They place the larger units over there. Kind of makes sense, right? This development is geared towards more for own stay. So naturally, being inward facing or nature facing or landed facing, there is a premium, and prices are starting from about $2,148 per square feet for the units that are further away from the AYE. And the last development to launch in October, this is the highly anticipated Zyon Grand at Havelock MRT, expected to launch on the 25th of October. A lot of guide pricing is also out, and one thing I can say is that if you take a look at the prices over here, it's actually not priced cheap, especially when they got the land the cheapest. So oftentimes I hear a lot of people share with me that, hey, they bought the land cheap, right? I'm going to get a very good deal, but unfortunately, again, the market has proven us wrong. In this case, CDL has launched a little bit even higher than what I estimated. Overall, I think that the prices will average around $3,000 per square feet, with prices of the Supreme series. These are units starting from the 44th floor, starting from about $3,300 per square feet. Previously, a lot of people were concerned about how Zyon Grand would affect Promenade Peak's views, vice versa. Now, I've done an extensive analysis of Promenade Peak and River Green. I left the link above and also down below in the description. And to my pleasant surprise, at least CDL, they've actually positioned the block at a slight angle, so you still get great views for this block 3, especially if you look out to the right side. Now, the cheapest stacks will most likely be those facing the road or the entrance, or those that are slightly on the lower floor looking into Promenade Peak. But I think eventually Zyon Grand being a very high-rise 62 floors, especially on the higher floors, the price will kind of normalize one another. So be it the different stacks, north or south facing, they will be very similar PSF. With the guide pricing out of the way, let's start the ball rolling by looking at the first budget $1.6 million. What should you buy? Over here for the $1.6 million budget, buyers, you can actually get the 2-bed 1-bath at Skye at Holland. I think as of this video, there's probably only left 2 units, the top 2 floors. You also get Penrith 2-bed 1-bath. Zyon Grand, same thing, but just take note that the 2-bed 1-bath at Zyon Grand 538 square feet, it does not have a balcony. And then Faber Residence, it is the only development that you can get up to a 3-bedroom. My top pick was previously Skye at Holland, and unfortunately it's almost close to fully sold. I think as of this recording, there's only the 2 top floor units left. Now, should you still buy it? Well, probably now is not the best, right? You can actually still consider it for own stay. Also, because Skye at Holland, the surprising thing is that the per floor jump is actually not too high, lower than the market norms. So as you buy higher and higher floors, the PSF doesn't get crazily high. My next best pick for just $1.6 million, the bigger the better, and that is Faber Residence. You can get a 3-bedroom starting from $1.59 million. Here you get all the key necessities, but because it's dumbbell, you'll notice that the toilets as well as the kitchen, you don't get the windows. Now, Penrith, while there is still more competition in the Queenstown area, I think the pricing here still looks very attractive, potentially similar to the resale in the area. $1.6 million, really don't have much options, so let's move on to the more exciting budgets. $2 million, probably you are a younger buyer, young couple, or someone who has actually just decoupled their first property looking to buy another investment property. I think that this price range of $2 million is still one of the most tricky segments. You can take a look at the range of units that you can buy. Yes, although Skye at Holland, Penrith, Zyon Grand, you can buy 2-bedroom premium, 2+ study. Penrith, you can buy 3-bedroom. You will take a look at that later. Zyon Grand, you can get the 2-bedroom premium or 2+ study. But you can see that the range of units that you can get, right, is probably maximum the middle of the development. Anything above the 20th floor, you probably will be priced out. And then, of course, Faber Residence being the cheapest OCR new launch over here, you can still get a 3-bedroom comfortably. So Penrith, it has a very interesting layout. This is a 3-bedroom, 786 square feet. And you might think that, wow, so small, 3-bedroom can buy or not. Well, yes, this is a very small unit on paper, but it does pack all the things you need. You can see that it has 3 full-size bedrooms, and very amazingly, I don't know what kind of sorcery this is, the kitchen, the toilets, they all have windows. So the small size is probably due to a more cramped living and dining area. But hey, to put things into perspective, take a look at the 2 layouts on the right. Over here, you have the 3-bedroom compact at Sterling. This is only 883 square feet, so 100 square feet more, but take a look at the actual things that you get, right? It's actually very similar, right? You also get 3 full-size bedroom, kitchen, toilets, all have window. The only difference is that, yes, the dining is a little bit bigger, but this is 100 square foot bigger and has already transacted at $2.2 million for the 11th floor. And very interestingly, at Sterling Residences, you also have an exact 786 square feet layout. Although this is pre-harmonized, this is only a 2-bedroom plus study. You can take a look over here. It's an oversized balcony, and the study, you can't enclose it, right? Because it's directly connected to the bathroom. So I do think that as an angle over here for Penrith, you can get a 3-bedroom for the same price, same size even, as a 2-bedroom plus study at Sterling Residences with a proven transaction of $1.98 million. I think that is a very safe purchase. And from an investment point of view, you realize that I left out Zyon because Zyon Grand, yes, the 2-bedroom plus study layout is pretty good. But don't forget that if you have an investment or shorter holding period, you will have to contend with a lot of competition come TOP from Promenade Peak River Green, as well as the upcoming Parcel B at River Valley Green. So not my top pick over here. You can still buy Zyon Grand for your own stay, but probably for a short-term 4-year kind of investment, not the top pick for me. So my next best choice over here is Faber Residence again, and you have the larger 3-bedroom unit at 861 square feet. Yes, again, it's a dumbbell layout, so you do sacrifice the windows at the kitchen as well as the bathroom, but hey, what do you gain? You gain a whole new study area, or what we call a flex area, and it's huge, it's 5 square meters. And for comparison, on the right side, we have Worcester Grand, a low floor, so similar to Faber Residence, a low floor 7th floor unit, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 958 square feet. That's bigger on paper, and it's even more expensive, $1.87 million. You get less usable space that isn't that flexi study room that you can put a helper or just use as a storeroom. Moving on to $2.5 million, and this is one of the most common budgets for HDB upgraders thinking about selling their BTOs that they got and upgrading to a better location or a bigger place. This is also a budget I think that is ideal because we now can get a very good balance between growth, size, and location. If you do need that bigger size, again, Faber is the only one for you over here. You can get up to a 4-bedroom, 1119 square feet. But I think over here, the more interesting things to get is actually the 3 bedrooms, because Skye Holland, you can get 3-bedroom, 915 square feet, fully sold, sorry. Penrith 3-bedroom, you can get the premium one as well, 936 square feet. And then Zyon Grand, you can also get their 800 plus square feet 3-bedroom units. So these are properties that have the MRT, some of them also have that good schools. And I think that this is the ideal property to get if you are thinking to upgrade, or if you're thinking to actually buy as an investment, and probably 1 km to a good school is not so important for you. Why Skye is so popular? Well, I was actually very certain that this unit will be the first to go, just because in the resale area around there isn't such a product priced so sensitively, right? So $2.5 million, you can get a decent 3-bedroom unit in a prime location with MRT and amenities. So at this price range, I think that Penrith is the most attractive option between the 3. You get a 3-bedroom premium unit, right? So you have your yard, WC, as well as that utility room. But there's only one stack of this in Penrith, so if you don't qualify for priority, and if your queue number is not like maybe 100 or below, I think there's very low chance, unfortunately, that you can get this unit. At Zyon, you can get that standard 3-bedroom compact layout. It's about 861 square feet, starting from $2.315 million. So there are 2 stacks of this at Zyon Grand. Good chance you can actually get a unit especially because Zyon, you are very high floor, right? About 62 stories high. So for Skye, the 915 square feet was sold out around, I think, about the Q4 to 500. So for Zyon, I think these units, even at Q5 or 600, there might still be some units left for you to choose. But what if your Q number is bad and then you're just forced to pay higher and higher floors of this development? So even though there are some units left, is it still a good investment choice? Well, from my experience, I actually advise one of my clients to walk away from Skye Holland just because they are left with too high a floor and the price gap within the same stack is also too high purely from an investment point of view. Well, if own stay is not your key objective, I think that there are still other alternatives in the market, kind of hidden gems that people have maybe overlooked and priced very well. First up, you can take a look over here is that I've not included the 4-bedroom at Faber because I think once you go to a 4-bedroom at Faber, this is really just for the own stay buyers looking for that maybe 1 km to Nanhua, because for the same price, you can get much better locations for a 3-bedroom unit at $2.5 million. So first up on the left over here, we have Bloomsbury. This is a 990 square foot 3-bedroom premium layout. What you get is the transformation at Dover, Medway and Media Circle. You also don't get any road noise, no sound. It's a very peaceful area, and this is in a RCR location. Talking about transformation and how Bloomsbury will benefit from the Media Circle and Dover Medway transformation, you can check out my video that I left the link here. This is the URA Master Plan Ultimate Guide, where I go through locations that will benefit from the government's transformation plans based on our URA Master Plan 2025 draft. And back to the options, the second choice I think is a good buy is on floor 23. This is Nava Grove, 3-bed, 2-bath, 947 square feet. So over here, you sacrifice a WC and utility, but this is a high floor unit. You also get that 1 km to Henry Park. So similar to Faber Residence, you get that 1 km to a good school, and you just sacrifice 1 bedroom for a much quieter location in the RCR. And third, if you still want to stick to the OCR, then another place that has that transformation is the Jurong Lake District, and Lake Garden Residences is very unique because you can get an even larger size. This is a 3-bedroom plus study, 1109 square feet, and this is on the 12th floor at $2.432 million. I think that this is just one of those properties that is one of the low-hanging fruits, low price, and yet the upside is high because of all the transformation in the area. Plus, if you are buying for a little bit more long-term own stay, you get spectacular Jurong Lake unblocked views. Now, to the $3 million budget and things get even more interesting. You are probably a highly successful professional. Your combined income, after flipping 1 or 2 properties, you are able to upgrade to an even better size, better location, $3 million investment or own stay property. I think at $3 million is really the sweet spot that you can get a great balance between your growth, size and location. And if you take a look at the properties over here, 3-bedroom premium Skye Holland, I think is fully sold. Then you have the 4 bedrooms even at Penrith, although the starting from is already 3.078 million, so probably just the first few floors. Zyon Grand, you can get the 3-bedroom plus study, that's 1055 square feet. And again, Faber Residence, yes, this is for more own stay buyers. You can get the more massive 4-bedroom premium of 1270 square feet. You can get the bottom to the top floor. So the same concept applies, I think, at 4 bedrooms. You don't have to get Faber Residence, a very big unit, because at $3 million, you can get a much better location. And of the 4 launches, I think that you should still target number 1. My favorite would be Penrith, followed by Zyon, and then of course Skye is fully sold. I think Zyon Grand 1055 square feet layout will be super popular at launch because firstly, the layouts are definitely better than Promenade Peaks. And secondly, it has an added bonus that study area, you can actually convert it to make your living and dining area a more landscape layout. So this is the only special layout, I think, 1055 square feet at the River Valley area. This is going to be very popular in the resale market as well. As we get to the higher and higher budgets, you'll realize that I start to favor Faber Residence less and less. And that's because I find like the balance is not there, right? These are probably buyers that don't really need that 1 km to a good school already, since you're looking at 4 bedrooms. Your kids are probably already older, or you have multiple kids. The first kid maybe get into Nanhua already. You don't need to get a 1 km property to that school. In addition, I think at $3 million, you have a lot of other better locations, better options with MRT, RCR locations with transformation as well. Hence, my first alternative over here for Faber residents, instead of paying $2.858 million for a 4-bedroom, 1,270 square feet layout in the OCR, no MRT, hey, why not just get Bloomsbury? This is a 4-bedroom unit. You still get the full 4 bedrooms over here. You have your utility or home shelter, you have your yard, you have your WC. And to look at the price, I've used the third floor comparison. So same floors, right? This is only $2.88 million. But what do you get? You get transformation. This is the Dover Medway transformation as well. And you also get an RCR property that is much better located to the city centre. And apart from Bloomsbury, I think that the next natural alternative is Elta at Clementi, the same district. And this is a very high floor unit on the 21st floor. So what I used to comparison is that I took the top floor unit, the most expensive unit at Faber Residence. This is $2.92 million. But Elta is only $3.1 million. So you top out about $200,000 more. You get the same bang for buck layout, but you get a much better location as well as unblocked spectacular views. Finally, the third alternative at that $3 million budget, this is another hidden gem, Linden Woods, which was almost fully sold out. There is still a 3-bedroom plus guest layout starting from $3.07 million. This is on the 4th floor. And I think that right now, if you don't need the school, but if you want an RCR location with an MRT, this is the most attractive PSF property out there. Before I reveal my top picks for the final budget of $3.5 million, if you have enjoyed the video and think you have benefited from it so far, do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also share it with a friend or family member that you think will also benefit from my analysis. Every single one of them is very appreciated and keeps me motivated to do more videos like this. Finally, the last budget, $3.5 million. Hey, these are people with a lot of capital, and with capital comes great opportunities. From all these launches, you essentially can get all the larger units. Your 4-bedroom premium at Skye or Holland is now fully sold. That goes to show how much demand there is for such properties. But unfortunately, if you take a look over here for Zyon Grand, you can only get up to the 1076 square feet 3-bedroom premium plus study layout. And that's because Zyon Grand's 4-bedroom units are massive at 1420 square feet. So first up, my top choice is once again Penrith. This is the 4-bedroom premium layout, 1281 square feet, starting at $3.36 million. If you take a look at this, the layout is really good. You get that landscape layout, and you also get 2 bedrooms with a Jack and Jill toilet attached. This is a layout that's very special because it is the only one of its kind in Queenstown area, and I think that in the resale market, it is also going to be highly desirable. The bad news is that if you don't qualify for priority, and if your queue number is around 400, I don't think that there are any units left of this 4-bedroom premium because there is only one stack here at Penrith. So you can still consider maybe the smaller units, the smaller 4-bedroom layouts. I think they are still great buys. If not, is there something out there in the market which is also RCR, near MRT, with $1 million HDB upgraders? Plus, you get a bonus of a good school, which is Pei Chin, and that is the Ori. This is near Braddow MRT. This is a 1,367 square feet. So it's even larger, so you get a 4-bedroom premium plus study. And since we are already on the 32nd floor, this unit is going at $3.658 million. So if you take a look at the PSF, 2,676 square feet, that is almost the same as the lowest 4th floor, 2nd floor unit at Penrith, 2,624. So for a much higher floor, much better views, same attributes development, I think that Ori is actually the better buy over here, especially if you can't get a good floor unit at Penrith. Another alternative you can consider if you are not able to get Penrith. So in the Safe Rough area, this is also RCR with an MRT at Buona Vista, plus you get a bonus of a good school in Fairfield Methodist. And yes, I've heard complaints that the layout is not the best, but this is massive, 1,507 square feet. This is pre-harmonized. You also have the option to convert it into a 5-bedroom. Prices are only at about $3.596 million for an 11th floor unit. And if you are willing to sacrifice that MRT for an even bigger property but still very good geographical location, we have Nava Grove and Alta. And if you are looking at this budget, you might say, hey, why shouldn't I go very, very big like a 5-bedroom at Faber? My point again is that who is the eventual demand pool of a 5-bedroom unit at Faber? Probably not as high as a 5-bedroom in, let's say, Skye at Holland, which is also almost fully sold, right? So in this case, you can see that these are the higher floor units. You get very, very good livable space and rooms, and you get spectacular views. In addition, these are 4-bedroom premium units, which are not only larger, but cheaper than Penrith's lowest floor. These are high floor units at Alta and Nava Grove at a lower price. So for under $3.5 million, if you are more of like a own stay long-term investor, I think that these are great options to consider. And finally, if you're still sticking with me to the end of this video, I've included a small bonus information to reward you for watching till the end. You might notice that Zyon Grand has already started its previews, and as I mentioned, the prices are starting from a little bit more expensive than what I previously estimated. So is it still a good buy? I actually dropped my ranking from an S rank to an A rank. So if you want to check out my overall Ultimate Guide to New Launches 2025 edition, do fill up the Google form in the link below and I'll be happy to share it with you. And I've also updated the sales of the River Valley area. Over here, you can see that Robertson Opus, and this is a 999 development at Robertson Walk, is now 51% sold and an average PSF of $3,300 per square feet. Promenade Peak is 59% sold to date. This is also going to be our key competitor, and it sold at an average price of $2,970 per square feet. And that is why I think Zyon Grand, even though they got the land cheaper, they are probably going to average at about $3,000 per square feet. Finally, River Green, it is 89% sold to date and an average PSF of $3,121 per square feet. With all the stellar launches of all these River Valley properties, it's no wonder that CDL, in addition to charging a little bit of an integrated premium, have no reason to sell anything under $2,950 per square feet on average. So is Zyon Grand still a good deal? Well, I think you are paying a little bit more, but that doesn't make it a bad deal either. On paper, it has the best attributes, the best land plot, integrated to Havelock MRT. You also have that supermarkets, 22 F&Bs and shops, as well as that childcare center. So the key question is actually, should you be paying a slight premium for all these attributes? There are a lot of examples out there that maybe people will show that, hey, an integrated development might actually underperform in terms of the returns compared to their neighbor just next to them or across the road that is not integrated. Well, I'm here to debunk that myth. It is actually true if you have used other examples like maybe, hey, Watertown at Pongo, but take note that those examples are integrated developments in the OCR. So there is a very different buyer pool out there. Ultimately, if you're looking at OCR properties, these are generally maybe slightly lower budget buyers, HDB upgraders. They might value quantum over convenience. So what I've done over here is to use a more appropriate case study. This is comparing two properties at Woodleigh. Woodleigh Residences is the integrated development, and then you also have Park Colonial across the road that is not integrated. Ultimately, every location has its different buyer pool. I think that if you're in a prime area like this, you actually would value more integration, and there's a bigger buyer pool who values convenience. If you take a look at over here, Woodleigh Residences 2-bedroom and 3-bedrooms on an annualized return basis did in fact outperform Park Colonial. Park Colonial 2-bedroom 3.51% versus Woodleigh Residences 4.44%, and then Park Colonial 3-bedrooms 5.97% returns compared to Woodleigh Residences 6.46%. So the 2 and 3 bedrooms has clearly outperformed. But if you take a look at the 4 bedrooms, Park Colonial returned 6.15%, and in this case, Woodleigh Residences, the 4 bedrooms return lower at 4.64%. So yes, the concept, the principle that people value convenience, they are willing to pay a premium, and eventually you can sell it at a higher profit next time. It only applies until a certain point in time whereby, hey, that quantum is just too high, because for a 4-bedroom integrated, for a larger size, you pay a higher PSF premium. The quantum might be above some budgets. I hope that you have really enjoyed this video, gained something out of it, and with this decision guide, you'll be able to make a clear and informed decision on what you need to choose based on your different unit types. If you like what you see and think we are a good fit together, do reach out to me on WhatsApp and I'll be happy to share more with you over a one-on-one personalized consultation. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.